Donald Trump and Barack Obama, the two biggest names in modern American politics, a Republican juggernaut and a Democratic juggernaut. Unfortunately, because of the timings of their campaigns, these two titans never faced off against each other. But what if they did? What if Donald Trump and Barack Obama ran for president in the same year? I know this matchup sounds absolutely insane, and we'll get to the campaigns, attacks, VP picks, the insane debates, and who would ultimately win in a second. But first, I need to establish a little bit of context. In my last alternate history video, Howard Dean became president in 2004 and won re-election in 2008. For those of you who don't want to watch that video just to understand this one, here's a quick recap. Howard Dean's presidency pulled American politics towards progressivism and populism. Democrats split between the old establishment and a rising progressive flank, while Republicans grew increasingly frustrated, letting the Tea Party movement take control. That opened the door for Donald Trump's outsider populism to dominate the 2012 Republican primaries and carry him to the nomination. On the other side, Democrats rallied behind their rising star, Barack Obama. He carries Dean's progressive torch forward, but also reassures the establishment. The result is a political landscape quite similar to our 2016, but with a slightly stronger left-wing populist base. And with that, the stage is set for the wildest alternate election I've ever covered, the 2012 election between Barack Obama and Donald J. Trump. On April 3rd, 2012, Barack Obama secures enough delegates and officially becomes the Democratic nominee, the first African-American presidential candidate in history. The Republicans, meanwhile, are still deep in their brawl, with Trump leading the charge. Obama now has crucial time to defy his campaign. His platform is, surprise surprise, quite similar than in our time. He campaigns on hope with the iconic poster. He tells Americans that he wants to live in a country that makes stories like his possible. But Obama also has to adapt to the political climate of this alternate time. His campaign is noticeably more focused on grassroots fundraising. Obama is not quite as progressive as Howard Dean, but this Obama does shift a bit to the left compared to our time. Equality is still one of his major talking points, but this time it's not just about social equality. Obama also mentions economic equality and talks more about protecting the working class. Many are electric about the possibility of an African-American president, but the whole hope energy he had in our time is dimmed, simply because this America already experienced what progressive hope looks like under Howard Dean, and very left-leaning progressives aren't too enthusiastic about Obama and would rather have seen someone like Bernie Sanders pick up the progressive torch. While Obama's campaign continues to pick up steam, his campaign managers warn him that the time of political decorum, respect and decency might be over. The Republican primaries are still ongoing, but it's looking ever more likely that Donald Trump can actually win them. That alone would flip politics on its head. Obama and his team know that in order to beat Trump, they need to leverage every advantage they have, no matter the price. His team begins planning his campaign trail with early focus on Ohio. During both the 2004 and 2008 election, Ohio was a crucial swing state that voted Howard Dean into office. Obama really wants to keep Ohio blue. Meanwhile, to the shock of the entire world, Donald Trump secures the Republican nomination by April 24, a month earlier than expected. Proof that his movement wasn't a sideshow, but the main event. His base isn't just motivated, they're electric. Trump's campaign is very similar to his 2016 campaign in our time. He runs on the slogans America First and Make America Great Again. He also talks about the need to build a wall, though not as often. Instead, he's doubling down even harder on his anti-establishment, anti-deep state rhetoric. The right has had enough of the liberal progressive policies that dominated the US in the last 8 years. And they certainly don't want to see someone like Obama enter office. Still, Obama is seen as more trustworthy and legitimate by Americans and is leading by over 15 points in early polls. But back in 2016, polls also strongly favored Hillary Clinton. These polls kinda assume that Donald Trump is just a regular opponent. And oh boy, he is anything but. On Twitter, Trump has already repeatedly questioned Obama's citizen status and is calling for investigations into his birth certificate. Of course, that whole thing is a lie, but it works to rile up the right, and many begin to seriously question Obama's birthplace status. Shortly after becoming the Republican nominee, Trump begins calling Obama several insults. He's a socialist, a terrorist, and a puppet of the liberal elites. And while those insults definitely aren't nice, they are no serious threat against Obama. However, there's one insulting angle Trump can take that could actually turn into a serious threat for Obama. And that angle is also low-key the dumbest. Obama's second name is Hussein. I'm certain it wouldn't take Trump long to realize that that middle name is a major weakness of Obama. By early May, Trump begins to refer to Obama as Barack Hussein Osama. Even Fox News somewhat picks up on the insult. Tucker Carlson jokes on air that Hussein is one of the worst possible middle names a president could have. But Fox News doesn't go as low as Trump. Fox News by that point in time is not fully far-right populist yet. But still, the fact that a major TV program has put the spotlight on Obama's second name is a huge win for Trump. Obama's new nickname, and especially his second name, gradually spread fear-mongering through rural and conservative areas of the US, and fear simply is one of the biggest driving factors to bring people to vote. The far right begins spreading the slogan, "I'm not voting for Hussein," which quickly gets adopted by mainstream far-right figures like Alex Jones. By late May, these attacks begin to show their effect and the gap narrows to 10 points. Trump is gaining rapidly, and if there's one thing Trump is good at, it's capitalizing on momentum. Quickly on his online shop, t-shirts with the "I'm not voting for Hussein" slogan begin being sold. Obama originally simply ignored these attacks, brushing them off as far-right nonsense. But now he is getting forced to respond. On June 10, during an interview session, a journalist from Fox News directly asks him about his middle name in front of rolling cameras. Obama responds with, "My name is Barack Hussein Obama. It's the name my parents gave me, and in America, we don't judge a person by their name, their background, or the color of their skin. We judge them by the content of their character. Perhaps my opponent could try it sometime." Howard Dean, the sitting president, also takes Obama's side and bashes Trump for the insults more unapologetically. But still, Trump's insults are working. A decent chunk of Americans were already skeptical of Obama because of, let's face it, his skin color. In our time, Obama had a respectful opponent with John McCain in 2008 who didn't embrace the fear, but instead gently called out the bigotry.
He's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about.
But now with Trump, Obama, of course, doesn't have that luxury. Trump's insults might sound stupid, but they get eaten up by the media, are replayed countless times on TV and online, and slowly but steadily sow further and further doubt inside the minds of voters. By late June, Obama is only ahead by a mere 5 points. Obama urgently needs a counter-strategy. Just campaigning on hope doesn't cut it anymore in a polarized America. Progressives aren't enthusiastic enough about him, and Trump's insults hurt his credibility significantly. But Obama isn't stupid. He knew something like this could happen. He just hoped it wouldn't. Obama, with his campaign managers, has prepared a strategy to counter Trump and gain back enthusiasm about his campaign. By the beginning of July, Obama shifts his strategy. Instead of attacking Trump for his lack of experience and unprofessionalism, Obama calls out what a loser Trump really is. He clowns him for bankrupting a casino, for being a nepo crybaby, for his excessive use of spray tan, and especially for being so weird. Obama needs to break Trump's strongman image. With the new strategy against Trump, Obama is gaining the upper hand in the media spotlight again. Both Trump and Obama are now basically locked in a media battle where both try to get great moments in that get replayed by TV stations. And with that, their insults only get more creative and crazy. Obama insults Trump on his golf game and lack of game. Basically, Obama calls Trump a groomer that relies on forcing women to like him. Trump, meanwhile, straight up asks a reporter if he thinks Americans would really vote for a black guy. And with every crazy moment like that, hype for the election only increases. By July, basically all of America and the world is highly invested. Not like they would be for a typical election. No, this is like an election, a Super Bowl, and the biggest blockbuster movie of the century all at once. Obama and Trump don't get treated like typical presidential candidates. They're both superstars. Early analysts predict that the turnout numbers at the 2012 election will be significantly higher than any previous election, and projected viewership numbers for the upcoming debates in October only rise and rise with each day passing. Especially online, people are super excited about the Obama versus Trump debates and already call the upcoming debates historic months before they even happen. But before we can cover the grand showdowns in October, there's one more thing both Trump and Obama need to take care of, a decision that could easily make or break their campaigns. And in an election as important as this one, every detail matters. As summer 2012 rolls around, both campaigns have to make the most important decision of the race. Obama and Trump have to pick their running mates. Obama's VP pick is far more urgent than Trump's. While his campaign has regained some ground against Trump, Obama still hasn't managed to fully mobilize the progressive Howard Dean base. President Dean is heavily endorsing Obama, but everyone knows Howard Dean would have much rather seen Bernie Sanders be the nominee. And simply, Obama isn't as progressive as people in this alternate America where the Occupy Wall Street movement gained far more traction would wish. Obama needs to build bridges. Early on in the race, Obama considered nominating Joe Biden as his running mate, as he would fully reassure the establishment. But now in late July, where everyone is seeing how crazy Trump truly is, the Democratic establishment basically has no choice but to be on Obama's side. Joe Biden would be a wasted pick. Obama's team crosses him off. What Obama really needs is someone more progressive than him. Someone that is clean, not easy to attack, and that can help rally progressives and the working class. CNN and MSNBC predict that Obama will choose Elizabeth Warren as his running mate, as she simply fulfills all those criteria, and then some. And since she's a woman, she would definitely help with winning over female voters. But Obama and his team seriously fear that it could hurt their Rust Belt working class credentials if they don't pick a white guy on their ticket. It sounds stupid, I know, but a black presidential candidate was already unprecedented and risky. There is no need to risk it again by picking a female VP candidate. And on top, Elizabeth Warren is from Massachusetts, which is neither a swing state nor a Rust Belt state. Still, she would rally and energize progressives more than barely anyone can. So if not Elizabeth Warren, who would Obama pick? Well, remember earlier in the video when I said that Obama really wants to win Ohio, and beyond Ohio, the Rust Belt as a whole. That region is crucial to his campaign. Either Obama wins there or he won't win. And as fate would have it, there is a well-respected, fairly uncontroversial, yet progressive senator from no other state than Ohio itself. I'm talking about Sherrod Brown. Picking Elizabeth Warren would have been an insane and exciting gambit by Obama, but playing it safe simply is the smarter move. On July 28, Obama's team officially announces that Sherrod Brown will be their running mate. Sherrod Brown is a great populist with working class credibility, and that seriously excites progressives. Not as much as Warren would, but still, Obama is seen as a very working class friendly candidate now. Besides progressives, political insiders also get excited, since they recognize what a generational pick Brown really is. Seriously, I cannot understate how perfect Sherrod Brown is for this timeline's Obama. And news stations beside Fox News do the same. CNN, MSNBC and co. all praise Obama for the pick, and analysts quickly point out how that pick boosts Obama's chances. Poll numbers for Obama quickly rise again by late July, and all that publicity and momentum seriously puts pressure on Trump's campaign. Trump now has to pick someone equally perfect if he wants to keep his momentum high. But can Trump find someone remotely as great a pick? Trump does have lots of choices. He could go for Newt Gingrich to gain insider credibility and experience. He could go with his prior adversary Mike Huckabee to get that evangelical populism into the race. He could go with Ben Carson to get rid of the racist label the left put on him. But really, I think there are only two people Trump would seriously consider. Okay, actually there's only one person. I think Trump in this timeline would really want Sarah Palin as his running mate. She would electrify his base even more, and Trump really is someone that cares more about media dominance than good governance. And with commentator, former governor of Alaska, and McCain's VP candidate Sarah Palin, he would definitely dominate the media for at least the coming weeks. His base would definitely like it, but everyone else, including undecided voters, would most likely see picking her as a crazy move. And pretty much every insider and Trump advisor would also recognize that. And it's not like there isn't a great choice on the table. Trump in this timeline has positioned himself as even more of an anti-establishment, anti-Washington candidate. So why not pick someone from another wing of the Republican Party that's also staunchly anti-big government? Why not create a true, all-encompassing anti-establishment ticket? And why not pick someone younger to gain more traction with younger voters? Picking Libertarian Senator Rand Paul would achieve all that. It's the smart political move. Rand Paul is fiery enough to share a stage with Trump, but still respected enough to create headlines like "Trump goes smart." Picks Libertarian Senator Rand Paul as running mate. So the Trump ticket really is in a dilemma here. Trump wants Sarah Palin, since he is Trump after all, but everyone on his side is telling him that picking Rand Paul is a way smarter move. So would Trump cave? I think he would, yes. He did let his sons convince him to pick JD Vance in 2024, and he went down a smart path in 2016 when picking Mike Pence. So I think Trump would be smart enough to listen to his allies here and announce Rand Paul as his running mate on August 11, and that immediately also creates huge headlines. Trump has now solidified himself as the true anti-establishment candidate. He wants the elites out, and if he needs a libertarian to help him with that, so be it. Fox News especially gets excited about this pick and runs headlines like "Trump picks Rand Paul to go after the establishment. Is Washington done?" By that point, Washington insiders and the establishment begin getting seriously scared of the Trump-Paul ticket, and that energy can be felt by voters, which seriously helps Trump's ticket. Everyone that is fed up with Washington, which, let's face it, is pretty much every American now, has a really good reason to vote for Trump. Basically, Trump's ticket is now the "if you're angry at the political system, vote for me" ticket. By the middle of August, Trump's poll numbers rise to the highest they've ever been, giving Obama only a 53% chance of winning. Obama is still ahead, but Trump once again has more momentum. Everything hinges on the debates now. In our timeline, the 2012 election had 3 presidential debates on October 3rd, October 16th and October 22nd, and the vice president debate on October 11th. That's the same in this timeline. But besides the dates, everything is different. This alternate election is highly explosive, much more than even our 2016 election, and could ultimately swing both ways. Depending on just these 3 debates, both Obama and Trump have major strengths and weaknesses. Obama in our time was a revolutionary figure, someone that spoke phenomenally with an inspiring background and great character. Obama was hope after the chaos that was Bush. But in this timeline, America under Howard Dean experienced a lot of successful progressive policies. Yet after the 2010 midterms, Congress entered a gridlock, basically freezing Howard Dean's presidency. People feel betrayed by both parties and they want change. And Obama in this timeline isn't seen as the big new change he was in our timeline. He's a progression of Howard Dean with more style and charisma, but ultimately no revolutionary ideas. Donald Trump, meanwhile, is definitely revolutionary. People want change, and Trump promises change. A lot of change. Yet, Trump is very chaotic. While he made a smart choice by not picking Sarah Palin as his running mate, his insults, strongman appearance and chaotic energy all make him seem radical. Too radical for many. People want change, but not chaos. Trump's followers crave his raw style. Obama's followers want Dean's progressivism continued by a steady, intelligent leader. But it's neither of those two bases who will decide this election. The ultimate decision lies in undecided voters who want change but without chaos. So this election bows down to compromises. Either voters give up on change or they embrace chaos. And the majority of those voters will decide which of these two compromises is the better choice through watching the free debates. And so the showdown begins. On October 3rd, Obama and Trump meet at the University of Denver for their first debate. The focus of the questions lies on domestic policies. The moderator asks what each candidate would do about the current government gridlock. Obama, by coin toss, answers first. He gives a detailed, very clean answer, focused on building bridges, finding common ground, blah blah blah. It's the same kind of answer you heard a million times before. Obama does speak nicely and clearly, but he sounds like a politician. And now it's Trump's turn, and he goes out swinging. Instead of actually answering the question, he just begins assigning blame. He directly talks to the audience, not the host nor Obama. He talks with burning fury how the politicians in Washington screwed Americans over, how Obama's friends are the very people responsible for the gridlock. Obama gets visibly frustrated. After Trump's quick rant, the host opens direct dialogue between the two. Obama quickly begins pointing out why the gridlock happened. He explains, he reasons, he yet again sounds like a politician. Even worse, Obama sounds like the establishment defending itself from Trump. And while every single thing Obama says is true, that doesn't matter. It doesn't sound authentic, but Trump's insults sound authentic. They reflect the anger many Americans are feeling, and most of the debate goes on like this. Obama reasons, makes great points, but sounds too much like a politician. Trump meanwhile rambles, often saying incoherent and contradictory things, but he sounds authentic. The mistakes he makes only make him seem more human. The debate is quickly shaping up to be not a debate between two opposing views, but a debate between the establishment and someone hating the establishment. And unfortunately for Obama, many Americans are disillusioned with the establishment. After the debate is over, it's pretty obvious who won. Trump. Around 70% of viewers agree Trump won in snap polls. Even liberal pundits have to admit that Obama looked flat. After the debate, Obama's numbers quickly drop by several points, and for the first time during this election, Trump overtakes him in the polls. Trump now has a 52% chance of winning, compared to Obama's 38%. October 3rd and the following week marks a dark period for the Democrats. In interviews about the debate, Obama tells the media that he felt like debating a madman. But that insult doesn't really work when the majority agrees that the madman made great points. Obama now knows that logic alone won't beat chaos. And to beat chaos, Obama needs to adopt a new strategy. After careful consideration with his advisors, Obama agrees to drop his professor voice. He needs to borrow populist anti-establishment rhetoric while keeping the moral high ground. But such rhetoric is unprecedented for Democrats, even in this timeline. It could work, but it could also backfire, making it seem like a desperate attempt to mimic Trump's energy, and that could hurt Obama's chances even more. But luckily for Obama, he doesn't need to test out his strategy himself. Before the second debate on October 16, there still is the vice presidential debate. On October 11, Sherrod Brown faces off against Rand Paul, and just like Obama, he walks into a hostile environment. But the Democrats have learned from their mistakes. Brown doesn't try to sound smarter, he tries to sound real. He opens by agreeing with Paul that Washington is broken, but then pivots. It's broken because too many people gave up trying to fix it, he says. That line lands, the audience cheers. Throughout the night, Brown keeps using Paul's libertarian anger against him, reframing every attack as proof that the government should serve people, not disappear. It's a subtle but major shift. Instead of defending the system, Brown reclaims the language of reform. Rand Paul's anti-establishment rage still works, but Brown's strategy works even better. At Snap polls, over 60% of viewers agree Sharon Brown won the debate. And that is all Obama needs as proof. On October 16, Donald Trump and Barack Obama meet yet again, this time at the Hofstra University in New York. This time around, specially selected undecided voters can directly ask questions to the candidates. The focus is mixed on both foreign and domestic policy, and the first guest asks a very unique question. What do you like or admire about your opponent? This time, Trump has to go first. So far in this election, he dragged Obama through the mud, called him a terrorist, questioned his birthplace status, and suggested Americans wouldn't vote for a black guy. So expectedly, Trump doesn't give the most sincere answer. He answers, Obama is a great looking guy, always wears great suits, he always looks terrific. Very terrific looking guy. Now it's Obama's turn, and he quickly snatches the moment to fully embrace his new strategy by answering, I like Trump's passion and how much he cares for our government. That's very admirable. And he is right, Washington is broken. What Donald gets wrong though is that you don't fix a broken bridge by burning it down. That response is golden and gets huge audience cheers. Trump is rolling his eyes. He counters by asking Obama why he suddenly acknowledges that Washington is broken. Obama tells Trump, I always acknowledged Washington is broken. Just last time I said it, you didn't exactly listen. That gets several laughs from the audience. And the night continues quite similarly. Trump keeps his rage and anti-establishment points, but Obama diffuses most of them with witty comments instead of talking politics. Obama also mirrors Trump's direct-to-audience communication and often just looks at the camera for comedic effect. At the end, audiences clearly agree Obama won this debate. CNN calls the debate Obama's comeback, and his poll numbers quickly rise again, slightly surpassing Trump. It's now 53% Obama, 47% Trump, a neck-on-neck race. And there's only one more big chance to sway voters in your direction. The final debate on October 22nd. While Trump's team is not in as much a panic as Obama during the first debate, Trump still just lost the debate. His team advises him to appear more presidential without losing his fire. So Trump rehearses cutting one-liners that sound sharp but not unhinged. And with that new strategy, Trump is ready. He meets Obama on October 22nd for the final showdown. It's a foreign policy debate set in the calm, formal halls of Lynn University in Florida. Both men know this is their last chance. Obama begins strong, framing leadership as global cooperation and stability. Trump counters with nationalist populism. We've led the world long enough. It's time to lead at home. It lands well. The early questions of the debate really go unexpectedly mild. Audiences are almost disappointed by how clean both Obama and Trump answer foreign policy questions. They don't scream at each other or insult ruthlessly. They just throw in witty roasts here and there. But by the middle of the debate, that changes. Trump attacks Obama on Dean-era policies and gridlock. Obama fires back, saying, Donald, you talk about leadership like it's a reality show, but in the real world, leadership means listening. Trump snaps back with, and in the real world, people are tired of waiting for politicians to listen. The audience roars. Both sides score points. Trump doubles down by now dropping his hard hitters against Obama. He accuses Obama of pretending to be a populist now that it's politically convenient. Trump states, love me or hate me, I don't change my message because of a poll. Trump also manages to underscore Obama's humor, framing it as elitist detachment. You can joke about Washington, but people can't joke about their bills. This reframes Obama's charisma as arrogance, a subtle but devastating move. Towards the end, however, Obama scores a massive win. A single mother asks how people like her are supposed to afford the future. Obama gives a heartfelt answer about community and responsibility. Trump, surprisingly, tries to answer with restraint and compassion, but falls flat of Obama's charisma. Both candidates had strong moments during the final debate. In the closing statements, Obama frames himself as the change through stability candidate. Trump flips that and follows up by framing himself as the stability through change candidate. Snap polls show that the debate is perceived as a draw. Analysts say that Obama looked presidential, while Trump looked powerful. In the aftermath, Obama slightly gains amongst independents, while Trump solidifies his space. Leading up to the election, the polls don't fluctuate much. Most give Obama a slight edge over Trump, but some independent analysts actually predict that Trump will win. Realistically though, no one can tell in this timeline who will win on November 6. Everything depends on who ultimately had the better strategy and convinced more undecided voters in key swing states.
Oh, say
States election night. November 6th. America is tense. Turnout is huge. People are glued to their TVs. In the Midwest, South and Rust Belt, you see bumper stickers on trucks saying, "I'm not voting for Hussein." In major cities, you see people holding up signs reading, "Hope trumps chaos." This election is tense. Tenser than perhaps any election in the last 30 years. And America feels it. The country is extremely polarized. As early numbers pour in, something many expected quickly begins to show. Obama is in fact more popular than Trump. He is projected to win the popular vote by over 2 million votes. But as you all know, the popular vote doesn't win elections. The Electoral College wins elections. Swing states win elections. And there, the race is airtight. Now, I'm not gonna bore you by reading out every state Obama and Trump won. Both have solid bases. Obama wins the blue states and Trump wins the red states, like you see on screen. So far, everything is looking good for Obama. He is ahead in both the electoral and the popular vote. But the swing states can quickly turn the tide. And the first major swing state that gets called is Florida. 29 crucial electoral votes. Most analysts predict that Obama can win Florida, but it will be close. And then it gets called. Florida goes to Trump. Florida's older and more conservative electorate is surprisingly responsive to Trump's America First rhetoric. Retirees blame Washington gridlock for stock dips and inflation fears. Cuban and white working class voters lean toward Trump's anti-establishment message, while Obama shockingly underperforms with older independents. And with that, the election already starts with an upset. Not great for Obama, but not devastating. Florida was projected to be close after all. The next swing state is North Carolina. This state is a true toss-up. Polls basically predict the state is a true 50-50, but unfortunately, the Democratic coalition there never quite ignites. African American turnout is strong, but not as strong as Democrats hope. Rural areas, meanwhile, show record Republican enthusiasm, especially in the Appalachian West. Trump's chaotic energy reads as real talk to disaffected voters, while Obama feels like more of the same. North Carolina also goes to Trump. Turnout for Trump is much higher than most analysts expected, and that is a very serious threat. Obama's base now fully shifts from hopeful to concerned. The next state is Iowa. Democrats hope that with Obama's VP, the state can be won through Rust Belt credibility and working class politics. But Democrats underestimated Trump once again. Iowa narrowly flips to Trump by a mere single point. Trump now sits at a shocking 258 electoral votes, 12 away from victory. Live trackers now begin to flip their predictions, from a 54% Obama victory at the start of the election to a 56% Trump victory as Iowa goes red. Many Americans in this timeline begin to feel quite similar to how Hillary Clinton supporters felt in 2016. Are their dreams collapsing in front of their very eyes? Not quite yet, as Nevada gives Obama a shimmer of hope. The state has strong Latino turnout, which favors Obama. The next state counted is Virginia, and thanks to well-educated suburban neighborhoods, Obama also manages to secure Virginia's 13 electoral votes. Obama now sits at 239 electoral votes. He still is behind Trump. The walls are closing in on hope. Only 4 more states are yet to be counted: Colorado, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Ohio. All of these are polling at 2 points or more in favor of Obama. However, all the other states before, like Florida and Iowa, also polled in favor of Obama. Both MAGA and progressives bite their nails. The next state on the list is Colorado, which polls for Obama with over 5 points. And Colorado goes to Obama. Democrats jump in front of their TVs. Yet, as reporters quickly point out, Obama only narrowly won the state by a single point, much closer than anyone expected. Obama is now at 248 electoral votes, still 10 behind Trump. And there are only 3 more states. Trump needs to win 2 in order to win. Actually, Trump needs to win only 1, if that state is Ohio. And so far, Rust Belt support for Obama has collapsed much harder than anyone expected. Anyway, the next state is Wisconsin, a similar situation to Iowa, yet projected to go for Obama comfortably. And yet, Trump absolutely dominates in small towns, which are very upset about the government gridlock. Wisconsin, to the shock of everyone, goes for Trump. By now, MAGA is celebrating. It seems like the Rust Belt totally collapsed on Obama. Trump sits at 268 electoral votes. He has already majorly upset the country. Political analysts are speechless. Obama only has a very narrow path to victory left. If Obama manages to win both New Hampshire and Ohio, he would have exactly 207 electoral votes. New Hampshire gets counted first. Out of all the swing states, it's the one that polled the most in favor of Obama, giving him a 6-point lead. And as expected, Obama wins New Hampshire, but once again, much closer than anticipated, with only 2 points. The score is now Obama 252 versus Trump 268. All of the US and pretty much the entire world are now looking at one single state, Ohio, a big state with 18 electoral votes that now single-handedly will decide the most polarizing election in recent American history. All of the Rust Belt has collapsed on Obama. Being hopeful seems delusional now. Many Democrats, progressives and Obama fans have already given up. Trump has upset everyone. His chaotic, harsh rhetoric shouldn't have worked. Yet it did. His insane insults, like calling Obama Barack Hussein Osama, shouldn't have worked. Yet they did. He almost made a horrendous choice by picking Sarah Palin as his running mate. Yet he didn't. And his crazy debate tactics shouldn't have worked, especially not after Obama's comeback. Yet they did. Trump truly has changed American politics forever. Populism is powerful, much more so than good policy proposals. But populism is not everything, and maybe you remember what I said early in the video, how Obama started his campaign trail in Ohio. It was clear from the very beginning that Ohio will be a crucial swing state, and Obama invested heavily into Ohio, launching his biggest rallies in Cincinnati and Cleveland. But Trump did the same. He too invested greatly into Ohio, campaigning heavily in smaller cities like Dayton and rural areas. Both campaigns invested millions into the state that is now about to decide the election. But Obama made one investment Trump, even with all his money, can't top. Obama gave his running mate spot to a senator from Ohio, Sherrod Brown. And while Sherrod Brown failed to convince the rest of the Rust Belt to go blue, he still gives Obama the home state boost. And with that boost, Obama narrowly wins Ohio by a single point. And with Ohio, Obama now has 270 electoral votes. Barack Obama just won the 2012 election. People can't believe their eyes. The entire election felt like a gut punch to many. Everything seemed lost. And yet, Obama won. Always remember, hope dies last. Trump is of course very angry now. He feels entitled to the victory. He did so much right. In fact, he did pretty much everything right. And yet he lost. Furiously, he calls for a recount of Ohio. But that doesn't matter. Even if Ohio gets recounted, Obama still won the state. Nothing can change that now. And that concludes this battle of two titans. Two juggernauts of politics went at each other, both giving their all. And that resulted in the closest election I've ever written. A clash of titans, the beauty versus the beast, David versus Goliath, fire versus water. Whatever you want to call it, I hope you enjoyed watching this insane matchup as much as I enjoyed writing it. And I apologize for taking so long with it, but you know, university started again for me in October. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. As always, a very special thanks to my loyal Patreons who helped make this video possible. While you wait for my next video, you can check out some of my other crazy content. The video on the left is about Trump being a Democrat. The one on the right answers what would have been if Bernie Sanders got the 2016 nomination instead of Hillary.